What if I told you there's a stock out there right now that truly has the potential to make you rich and give you some of the most incredible returns that you've ever seen, akin to getting into Tesla stock before it absolutely exploded, making some lucky shareholders millionaires overnight? However, I'm of the belief that these shareholders weren't simply just lucky, as I think what a lot of them saw in Tesla, certain people today see in Palantir. So before you think I'm hyperbole and claim that Palantir could never make a common shareholder rich, I urge you to hear me out. So let's jump right into this. Palantir is a company that creates incredibly intricate and powerful software to help businesses and government organizations solve really complicated problems. Imagine you have a giant puzzle with many pieces, but they're all mixed up and it's pretty confusing. Palantir's software takes all these pieces, which could be things like financial, medical, military, and business data from siloed sources, and then organizes and puts them together in a way that makes sense for the end user. For example, Palantir helps doctors find patterns in medical information to figure out how to better and more quickly treat diseases by utilizing artificial intelligence to recognize patterns in the data that would have otherwise been invisible to the human eye. And Palantir are in fact so widely trusted that they've been used by government agencies to help track down vital information to keep domestic territories and its people safe. So by this point, you might be wondering how much you'd need to invest in Palantir in order to break into 7-figure gains. So I believe this is true because I believe Palantir has the potential to be a high-flying stock like Apple or Tesla in the future, eventually becoming a blue-chip tech stock. In fact, I could legitimately see Palantir hitting $500 a share in the future. And while this number might seem like a lot to some, I think Palantir could potentially go even higher than that. But for the sake of the argument, let's leave it at $500 a share. Alright, so here's the part a lot of you probably want to know. If you were someone who bought Palantir at the very bottom, at say $6 a share, you would only need to invest $12,000 in Palantir to reach a $1 million value in the stock for your portfolio. However, I get it that there's only a slim amount of people who were actually lucky enough to time the bottom of the stock. For the rest of us, and in regards to where the stock is now, I think a $15 average share price is a much more attainable and realistic starting point. This means that you would need roughly $30,000 invested in Palantir at an average price of $15 a share to become a millionaire if the stock runs up to a $500 share price. And look, I'm by no means implying that the average person has $30K laying around to invest in one stock. Quite frankly, I'm just giving realistic amounts you would need for my stock prediction to come to fruition. However, for most people, investing in something like the S&P 500 is probably a much safer option. But for those of you who love investing in super niche companies that have the potential to become huge winners, I believe that Palantir is truly an incredible choice. And no one says you need to invest $30K into this stock right now. The whole point of long-term investing is to take your time and buy the dips on any chance you get over time. So if you're a stupid, broke-ass piece of shit loser and you're still not fully convinced of this stock yet, let me share with you a 3-step test that anyone can use that's both incredibly simple and incredibly powerful in determining if a stock has the potential to be a huge winner like Tesla was. Because let's be honest, there's no one who could have legitimately predicted when and how much Tesla stock would have ran up. But there are definitely some early indicators for people to take note of. So let's get into the first step in determining if a stock is a good pick. And that's profitability. This one's pretty easy, right? Is the company profitable? And look, I still invest in some companies that aren't profitable yet, as I think there's nothing wrong with having some diversity in your portfolio with some smaller startups. But if you're looking for the huge winner stocks, profitability is definitely a must. Think about it. If Palantir is going to run up to $500 a share, that'll put Palantir at a roughly $1.08 trillion market cap. Companies don't reach trillion-dollar market caps from retail investors alone. Big money from Wall Street and investment firms need to flow into this stock in order to push it to those high levels. And this kind of big money is never going to enter a stock if the company isn't profitable, as these entities need to be sure they're parking their money in a good spot. And rest assured, Palantir just achieved GAAP profitability, and on top of this, they have just over $3 billion in cash on their balance sheet. And the second step that you should look out for when investing in a company is their leadership. You know, who are the people leading the company? Has leadership recently changed? And do you agree with their vision? Having competent leaders in a company is vital to a company's success. And in this case, the two men leading Palantir are Alex Karp, the current CEO, and Peter Thiel, the other co-founder. And in my personal opinion, I tend to gravitate more towards Peter Thiel, so I'm going to be focusing on him, because he's someone who has truly had some incredible accomplishments, including, alongside Elon Musk, founding the successful fintech company PayPal, formerly serving as its CEO, and was one of the first investors in Facebook, which is known as Meta today. In fact, Peter Thiel seems to have such a knack for understanding what makes a company special. He was able to grow his Roth IRA account to multiple millions of dollars, which eventually led to him gaining a net worth of $5 billion over the course of just 20 years. So if you're curious on how someone could actually do this, listen up. As I'm sure a lot of you are already aware, Roth IRAs are a type of investment account that allows you to generate money from investing in stocks completely tax-free. And in the United States, you can only contribute $6,500 per year as of 2023 to this account. And the limit before was even lower, at just $6,000 per year. So that's essentially the catch here. However, what Peter Thiel did was genius. He bought a stake in PayPal of 1.7 million shares at the extremely low price of $0.001 per share. And within a year, the value of Thiel's Roth shot up from $1,600 to $3.8 million, meaning this was $3.8 million of completely tax-free money. And couple that with his investments in both early Facebook and Palantir, and he was able to grow his net worth to around $5 billion. Pretty incredible if you ask me, and he's definitely one of the guys that I would want running a company. But the last and final component to testing if a company is a good investment is to ask yourself this question. Is this company solving a problem in a way that no other company is currently doing? And in Palantir's case, the answer is a resounding yes. Sure, there are companies like Snowflake that are similar in some ways to Palantir, but being that Palantir has achieved the highest software security clearance, which is level 6, in regards to what the Department of Defense is allowed to use, it has already made Palantir the most trusted software company in the US government. And I think, as everyone already knows, data is one of the most valuable things for a company. So the ability to not only acquire data, but to be able to pull it into one place, parse through it, and then use AI to make critical decisions that could save your business hundreds of millions of dollars is invaluable to companies. And Palantir truly is at the cutting edge of their respected field. So if you want to get a better understanding and see some excellent examples of what Palantir does, check out this video right here, where I go over an interesting industry that Palantir is making huge waves in. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.